Corneille has been a photographer for the past 12 years. He studied in the UK and was awarded 2 Fuji Awards in the wedding photography category. He married Fiona in 2006 and they have 2 children, a son Ruan of 4 and a daughter of 2, Fiona. In August 2016, he received news that would change his life drastically.
Being a photographer and creating memories for families, one never realizes the importance of your own family and creating fleeting moments of that. An exceptional, well-known philosopher on his dying bed was once asked, "How are you?" His response was, "Well, I'm bloody well dying, but so are you." And that made me think that we are all dispensable in this life, that none of us can live forever. None of us can take back time. None of us can make time stop. It made me think of life in general, how quickly things may change for a person. And that person was me at one stage. When life drastically changed. I was outside one evening and just wandering around and looking around and realized that in my left eye, my peripheral vision is kind of gone. Ocular melanoma is a very rare eye cancer disease and is not treatable. So that Friday morning I got kind of a fright and I thought, hey, hang on, what the hell is going on here? In consultation with Dr. Cornelius and him informing me of the diagnosis of definitely having an OM disease, cancer. Now, we all follow scripture in life and it depends what scripture you would like to follow and what dictates your lifestyle. So this person came to me and gave a little word out of the Bible that she felt in her heart to say, and that was John 11 verse 4.
Mr. Corneille Duplessis is a patient of mine who I first met sometime last year in 2016. When he presented with a visual complaint, and if I remember correctly, he had some visual disturbance in his left eye. When I examined him, I found a tumor in the back of his eye, a rather large tumor, the size of about 10 millimeters wide and about 5 millimeters high. And if I may use this schematic eye, just an indication, if I say the back of the eye, I'm referring to this part, which is made up of the retina, which is an extension of the nerve from the brain to the eye, and then the vascular layer just behind that, and you might be able to see it here. The vascular layer in the back of the eye is called the choroid, and in his case he had a choroidal lesion, huge lesion, close to the nerve, which is a very unfortunate site for such a lesion. And then I was very concerned about this lesion because the one diagnosis that stands out in terms of these tumors is a choroidal melanoma. It's a malignancy, and by that I mean it's a cancerous tumor that can kill you if left untreated. And certainly these ones are known to be very aggressive. In his case, the tumor was very close to the optic nerve. And in those cases, you don't have much of an option, because if you treat the tumor with irradiation, you're going to kill the nerve and the blood supply to the nerve, so the eye will end up blind and most likely painful as well. So we made the decision to remove the eye. And in the primary procedure, replace the eyeball with an internal prosthesis, a silicone ball, which creates volume in the eye again. And once healed, then then you have the opportunity of having a external prosthesis fitted.
Life is not always what you expect. There's definitely hurdles in the race of life, your journey through life, where you find yourself sometimes with expected hurdles and sometimes with unexpected hurdles. When Corné got sick, it was definitely one of those unexpected hurdles, something that we never expected. I think never in a million years I thought that we will be confronted with the word cancer. So on the day when he went for the second opinion with a specialist, and the news we got was a bit more than what we expected or what we bargained for, to be quite honest. But that day I saw a picture with me and the children and not Corné. And that day I was really thinking of life without Corné. But soon, luckily very soon, I picked myself up and I said, no, cancer is one word and it doesn't mean death. But like I said, for the next 2 weeks we were still planning and thinking about the whole thing, and it's not as easy as just to say lose your eye. We had some second opinions and we had people that sort of felt it was quite difficult to accept the fact that someone is going to lose their eye. My dad, for one, he wanted Corné to get that second opinion from a guy overseas that helped to keep his eye. So so there we planned for the operation and to get ready to get his eye removed and everything. And I said the messenger was there that day. And the messenger came with a verse out of John. And it said, the illness is definitely not to death, but it's to the glory of God. And I think when we got that, I think that was actually the thing that gave us the most peace. That we just knew, and that was through the whole illness and stuff. That was what we really hanged on to. That was what we always sort of just came home to, knowing that that's what we've got. Corné went and he got his eye removed, basically. That was probably one of the most challenging things that we had to do, but also just seeing someone going through that was a bit scary. It's not nice seeing, I think, your loved ones suffering. But we got through that, and it's actually so amazing to think how quickly the human body heals. I mean, it was really amazing. Every day the progress was just amazing to see how it got better and better. About a week or 2 weeks after removing his eye, we got some other bad news. And I think that was probably one of our lowest days, when we realized he had a kidney tumor of 8 centimeters.
One of the important things when somebody presents with a tumor like this is, and because it's a malignant tumor that can spread, and they often spread to liver and lungs and even bone and skin and to the brain, but most often to the liver and to the lungs. So in patients like these, you have to examine the rest of the body, make sure it hasn't spread anywhere. The very unfortunate thing in Corné's case is that in doing so, while we screened him for any metastases, we found a tumor in his kidney. The question at the time was this a cancer that started in the kidney and perhaps spread to the eye, although it didn't look like that, pretty much looked like a choroidal melanoma. Or it would be very rare, but did this choroidal melanoma perhaps spread to the kidney? So soon after I treated Corné, I referred him to a urologist colleague of mine, which did a 75% heminephrectomy in his right kidney, removing the tumor altogether, and it turned out to be a primary renal carcinoma. So a very unfortunate patient, Mr. du Plessis, in having a primary eye malignancy and a primary kidney malignancy. But luckily, the diagnosis was made rather soon and treated accordingly, and in doing so, basically curing him from something that would certainly kill him if left untreated.
So it was time to actually tell the family and friends and everybody, and that did not go off very well. Obviously, family and friends were very concerned, and their first thought might have been, oh my gosh, this guy's going to die. We know from what scripture we have read in the past that many miracles have been done. We've read that people have been healed miraculously, and I just thought to myself that if that could be done 2,000 years plus minus ago, then why cannot why can't this happen right now?
During our journey, we met so many people that meant so much to us and that helped us, that I often said people's prayers and love and things like that just carried us through. I think the most important thing was to remember that whatever happens in life, there is a bigger plan with it. And we had to go through it for a reason. And I remember so well, when you're in that situation, you don't always understand what is the reason and why it's happening. And I think just to realize that you can overcome these things and then you can continue and you can finish the race of life.
It was 3 weeks after my nephrectomy and 4 weeks after my eye operation. I carried on with my shoots as if almost nothing happened. The strange thing is that I thought to myself was my left eye was always my shooting eye, and that I would battle to come to terms of shooting with my right eye, and that it would be a big change in my field of view, that I would see things differently, and that I would battle. But when I picked up the camera and looked through the lens, it was almost second nature, that my right eye just went to the viewfinder and I saw the world in front of me through the lens, and it was good. I felt good. I don't know many pro photographers in the world that just has one eye. And there were so many changes that I never thought would be possible. Things like, would I be able to carry on with my photography career? And fortunately, I was so blessed with great clients who believed in me as a photographer, believed in me as a person, and not judging of what happened or what diagnosis came over my life. And looking in my personal life, with all the challenges that came with it, I never thought for one moment, looking back, that I would be able to do so many things that I used to do. It is great to know that I'm still a husband, I'm still a father, I'm still my boy's action figure, I'm still my little girl's daddy, and it's great. The playtime is something that I cherish even more with them. You have to accept who you are as a person. And by acceptance, you acknowledge that you are given the opportunity to live life to the fullest. And that is exactly what I've done. So many thoughts of how am I going to cope? How am I going to do things with one eye? Every so often you're reminded by your scars of what ordeal you've been through. In my case, just a simple wash of my face reminds me of not having two eyes. Getting out the shower and just toweling down, being reminded of a scar almost half through my body. But that is all replaced by the mere fact that it's a year and I'm cancer-free.